Go ahead, Gata.
How y'all doing tonight? So I was Ali said some good points. Men and women can't be equal. It's not possible. If we was able to be equal, or we was even created to be equal, there would be no head, there would be no tail. If we both was equal, where's the beginning? Where's the end? It's not possible. It's not even set up that way. It wasn't even created that way. If we was created at the same time, Adam and Eve were both created at the same time, we would have been considered equal. Eve was created from Adam. So that means she came from him. She's not less than, but she's of him. So where's the equality?
Equality. That was a cute word though. Equality. I've never heard that, but that was. But go
Appreciate it.
ahead. No, it's cool. But I said
Don't talk about the king like that.
no. I'm not talking about him. I'm helping him as women were designed to do. Help, be helpmates,
Correct.
right?
The
And
king
and she
create worlds.
and that was a word created, but she played her role by not being equal. She played her role to support my mistake.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to do. Not like trying to like
I know, Bean. You know I'm joking.
play. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm not that. I'm not even on that. I'm not that type of girl. But
I know you're
that,
not.
yeah.
And
So that
and
that speaks to my point. What you were saying, gotta right.
and to touch
Yeah.
another thing that he said, as far as women, I've seen it firsthand. Women will leave a whole relationship and their children because they're unhappy and go to a whole nother situation. Men will stick there and endure all your drama from your family, the kids that's not his, and everything else, and still stick through it to the very end,
Now you
and will
speaking,
not
brother.
leave,
You speaking now.
and will not leave until it's just no more that he can endure. A
Ain't that
woman would
love?
leave at a woman would leave at the first sign of unhappiness, strictly off of her emotions.
Ain't that
Speak,
love,
brother.
brother?
Speak. Speak.
Ain't that love?
Speak.
So
Speak.
men love harder because we got love first. We was created from love. Women was created from us, so they got a portion of the love.
Come on, Thriving. You want to speak,
Oh,
sister?
I'm
Let's
gonna
let
let
Thriving
Melanie
speak.
can
She been
go.
there. She ain't
No,
said nothing.
it's
Come on.
thriving. She hasn't spoke.
Come on.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
I'm sorry. I'm
hello.
sorry.
It's okay, Benna. Good evening, everyone.
How you doing, sister?
Hello. Now, what? Tell me something. Why am I scrolling on my FYP and I see you're fighting men against men, women against women? This is not okay. Come on now. There's gotta be unity at least between men, right? Unity between women. If men and women are not getting along, at least the
Huh?
same sexes, get along with each
Sometimes,
other, you
sometimes we
know?
got we got to battle to get that championship. We gonna get there. Thriving. Come on, Thriving.
That's what brothers do.
We good. We gonna
Okay,
get there.
well, I am sending you love and light that you get it together and figure it out because it's disheartening turning on this app and seeing the same stuff over and over and over again. But to the topic though, um, ladies, don't be mad at me, but I do not think we are equal to men. Men and women, we are not equal. And every time I hear somebody saying it that we are equal, we have, equal abilities and all that stuff, I just look at you and I put you in a box called unintelligence. That's why I put you. We are not equal, okay? And the sooner we can accept this, the better off we'll be. Men have different roles, women, we have different roles. We were built for those roles, okay? Things that men can do, women really can do. If they can do it, it's not in the majority, okay? Things that women can do, some men cannot do it. If they can do it, it's not in majority. For example, men on the construction site all day, every day, Monday through Saturday. That is a very physical, demanding job. Not most women can handle it. That's just a fact. Women can carry a baby in their stomach for 9 months. 9 months. and push that baby out and breastfeed that baby. Men can do that. We need each other to survive, just like Benna was saying. It's really disheartening to me when I hear this equality talk. Maybe we're confusing equality with equity. Equity, okay? Let me read definitions here. Equality treats everyone the same, regardless of their individual circumstances. For example, providing the same amount of funding to all schools, regarding of their student population's need, right? While equity recognizes that people have different needs and provides resources and support tailored to those in need. For example, providing additional funding or resources to the schools in lower income areas to address disparities in resources and opportunities. So it is possible that we can say, okay, in the case that the lady was talking about, where now she's sick, which has happened to me. My husband got sick and I had to overnight figure out how to come up with $80,000+ a year income, right? And that those situations are rare, but do happen. That's what makes us partners. When your partner is down, you have to pick up the slack and help your mate, right? When you are down, it's the same thing. You have to do what you have to do for your family to survive. That is just all it is. Just because I'm able for 2.5 years to do what he needed to do while he was down does not make me equal to him. Guess what? Because he spent 40+ years being a man that I couldn't be. Now he had spent, 30 whatever years being a woman that he couldn't be. But together we can come together and build something incredibly amazing. Our differences is what makes us strong. So this war between men and women, especially in the Black community, I kid you not, host, it really breaks my heart to the core, because we are wasting momentum. We're wasting precious time where we can come together and actually use these laws and these things they put in place, against them to get ahead. Like, we're smart, capable people. But we're here fighting who is the man who wears the pants and who doesn't wear the pants in the relationship. Come on. Is that all necessary?
Hmm.
Can we just
Well,
recognize our
so so
roles,
what
have a family plan, and put things together to better our families, to better our communities? Can we not do that? We're capable people. Why are we having a hard time in doing that? I
You
land
want
there.
so what should we do? What should we do then? What do you think the solution should be? If we shouldn't talk about it before we enact the action plan, what should we do? What would your
The first
solution be?
thing the first thing you need to do, in my opinion, is put a pin in it. Whatever grievances you have against the female, put a pin in it. Whatever grievances you have against the males, especially in the Black community, put a pin in it and start over. Understand that you have a common enemy that has oppressed you all these hundreds of years, and start using their own laws, their own rules, their own statutes against them. You need to smarten up, okay? We don't have time to lose anymore. Enough.
Okay.
we
Okay.
only we only equal in one area. We equal because we both got the right to remain silent when that blue and red light get behind us.
Mm. You know what's interesting, y'all? I was on the panel earlier, and the prompt was, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow and you had 24 hours to be the opposite gender? So if a man woke up tomorrow and you were a woman, a woman woke up tomorrow and they were a man, and it was hilarious. We had very good discourse. Everybody said what they would do if they were a man. It was hilarious, but a lot of it came from personal experiences that they had with the opposite gender. My response was that I would actually, if I woke up a man tomorrow, I would want to I would want to understand like the mental. Well, I forgot what I said. I said a lot of, like, it was more sentimental. Everybody else said, "Yeah, I'm gonna jack off in the morning when I wake up, and yeah, I'm gonna swing dick you know what I mean, for the rest of the day." You know what I mean? Like, it was, but
We don't do all that on a regular, so stop, man. We don't do that
I
every
mean,
day.
again,
Just find a minute once or
this
twice a
was
week,
a
baby, but not every day.
hypothetical. I'm just saying this was a hypothetical. I'm just saying I'm just sharing a prompt that I was a panel that I was a part of earlier, and I thought it was just relative to the conversation in terms of like the equality with the gender equality thing. So that's why I shared that.
I'm gonna stay.
Oh,
Sweetie, that's amazing. That's amazing that when you said we want to be a man, the first thing you thought about was jack off and sling dick.
no, I didn't say
That's
that. I
amazing
was
to me.
saying I didn't
That's
say that.
amazing to me. That's amazing.
I
That's the first
didn't
thing you
say
think about
that.
man.
But are
Oh,
you? Did
So
you
that's
hear
what
what
they
I'm
saying.
saying? I
okay.
didn't say that.
I'm
I
sorry.
didn't
I'm going
say
back in
that.
my corner. I'm sorry. I'm going back in
I
my corner.
didn't say that.
She
You
said
didn't
she
hear what
did
I
say
said?
somebody else said it. She didn't say it. She said
I
somebody
didn't
else.
say that at all.
You're not, here's a problem. It's not that y'all can come together
You
and do
trying to
something
understand it?
incredible. Y'all have a focus problem. That's the problem. You have a
Oh my,
focus problem, okay? Like for real. We
Been
do
oh my
not have
God.
time to waste. We don't have time. We've already wasted enough time. Focus. Okay, okay.
Mm.
Let me give you an idea. Okay, take it or
Are
leave
you
it, or
are you in
somebody
the
will run
U.S.?
with it.
Hold on,
I
allow
I I am. I
some of the
am.
men to speak because they haven't said anything in the middle. DeRay
Okay,
hasn't spoken in a while.
go ahead. Let me know when I can again.
Did you want to say anything, DeRay, or
Think he been lost. He been gone for a minute.
I'm gonna stay sleep because I won't want to wake up as a woman, so I'm gonna sleep that 24 hours away.
Nah, I just been silent. I just been listening, but you know, I'm just still back to the equality thing. I'm just saying, if we put this aspect into a car and the man was the engine, because it gets it started, he's the strength, and then the woman would be with the transmission because she maintains and moves the car forward, right? Let's just say that the woman decides not to be, the transmission is going, and the man is the engine.
That motor running, the car ain't going nowhere.
Right. So Ali, with you being Ali, I want you to go ahead and get this car from Philadelphia to California because the woman she out of here, and there is no equal, and the man can get it done. As you as the engine, I want to see you move this car forward.
What's that mean?
What?
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 Man, you
I hate
keep
what
you
you.
you keep hitting me with these riddles, man. What you trying to tell me, my brother? I'm already moving my car. I'm doing what my brother Bigger podcast doing. We trying to have these conversations,
Do 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 do
have good
do
faith, intentional
do do do
conversations
do
that work on
do do
bringing men and women
do
together.
do
But I think the
do do
conversation
do do
becomes
do.
this.
I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know neither. He all right. It's all right. We'll get him back.
About cars
The,
and
the
transmissions. What we talking about? Cars? Now just right up my alley. Come on, talk about some cars.
Like I said, it's very hard for most to focus. So it's really gonna be hard for your community to organize, stabilize and put yourselves together. What I was gonna say, and I'm gonna say this, and I gotta put my kids to bed. What I was gonna say is there's well organized and intelligent men on this app. If you went by region, host, you are in Chicago, right? Let's say you take the West Coast. You start a nonprofit. The nonprofit, you can call it whatever you want. Let's say you call it getting the Black community back on track, right? And that organization has a chapter in the Middle East, and whatever, in the West, whatever, different locations. And you have objectives. And now you ask yourself, what is one thing that the entire community in America, African American, face in America, right? You tackle one thing every quarter. You have meetings, you organize yourselves, you can succeed. You just have to mobilize and organize. That's it. And the rest of us on the sidelines will just give you money and support you.
man,
That's
man,
it.
it's a bad man, man. I understand where you're going in a utopia, but that's not realistic what you're saying, man. No, that's not gonna happen. That's
Why is it not realistic? Tell
be,
me why
be,
it's not gonna happen.
because most of the sisters don't listen to nothing. The brothers ain't on
And
here
I'm
because
not talking
sisters.
about the
No,
sisters. I'm
no,
talking
no.
about
You
the men.
no, it don't.
Men,
No,
women will follow what the
Hold on,
men
let him
no,
finish.
do.
Let him finish.
Yeah,
man.
Ali, speak, brother,
We need
speak.
women. We can't have a nation without the women.
Correct.
We need the other gender. We can't have no nation. We can't build families. We can't build communities. We can't build businesses without our women. We need them to invest in us. We need them to cooperate. Then we can get back to nation building. So when you're
Okay, so
women,
take
you're as strong as your so-called weakest link. And I don't mean in stature. I mean like our women have to be our strength. She has to be cooperating with her men. But until she cooperates, we just out here lost. So there's no
so are
reason
you
to do
say
all this. Go ahead, ma'am.
are you saying, I don't mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry if I am, I'm really passionate because I know how great you people are. It breaks my heart. Are you telling me that all of your women are not supportive of you? Because
Mhm.
Melanin is
I didn't
supportive
say,
of
oh,
you.
I didn't say,
Ben
you see
is,
what you,
so take the women, take
no,
the women that are
oh,
supportive.
Moving the
yeah,
goalposts,
no,
driving.
ma'am, if there's two good women, so, and there's eight good men, and most of the women are no good. Most of the men not going to have no women. Do you realize the birth rate is almost 1.7 now, 1.5? The women aren't even having children. They're not. They decided that career is more important than having a man and having kids. So how can
Facts.
you build a nation
Let
with
me let
people
me say
that are
this. Let
focused?
me
No, no, Miss
Speak, Kareem.
Thriving.
Speak, brother.
You
Speak.
keep saying things that we're way past. This is an old conversation that you're trying to have, and I respect it.
Okay.
You're very extremely intentional. But the brothers, while podcast keep showing his videos on his reels, while we keep speaking about what we speaking on, majority of women would rather they submit in the bedroom, but they're not going to submit for no man. They'll do the nastiest, freakiest things in the bedroom, but they can't submit on their feet to on 2 feet with men, but they can submit on their back. That's the problem we having.
Let me say this, right? And I hear your predicament. It's not easy to try to go somewhere where your women are not alongside of you. And I'm sorry that you have to live in a world like that. I really am. But have you tried something like this that I just suggested? Have you tried it and it didn't work? Or are we immediately going to shut down everything that is suggested before it even takes off the ground?
Can you try it too?
I'm sorry?
How about you try it?
Okay, so you
And
want
you
me
let
to
us,
start
you do
a
it. Hmm?
nonprofit,
Yep, you do it. Yep, you do it.
from the
And you,
East Coast to West Coast,
mhm.
right?
Yep, because see,
Okay.
there's a lot of men that come on here that talk about mentorship, that talk about businesses, especially even when men are helping our sisters with their children, and the women who even stop bringing the kids to the mentorship as well too. Like there's a lot until our sisters are completely cooperating with the men. We're not going to get anything accomplished. Whether whether you think you can happen or not, if you can do it, show us how you can do it, and we'll follow you.
I am doing what I have been given a mentor to do. I am
Hmm.
doing my part. I am doing what my calling is,
No, but then
right?
how you
I
telling us
am
to do
doing my
something?
part.
No, no, no,
But
no, no,
what
no,
I'm
brother.
what I'm
See,
saying is, hang on just a second. Let me say this. What I'm saying is, if men say, you know what, we're not going to wait on these women to get in line. We are just going to go ahead, start this nonprofit, have meetings, organize ourselves.
it's been
There's
happening.
behaviors from, hang on, there's behaviors from women we're not going to accept. We're no longer going to you entertain three or fours. We're no longer
Hmm.
going to entertaining these women taking out for child support. We are going
Hmm.
to support these men who are on child support and teach them and find them lawyers to represent them. We're going to cut out these bad behaviors. We're going to get organized from East Coast to West Coast. I promise you,
Hmm.
these women will fall in
Yep.
line.
Can I ask you a question?
Thriving.
Child support
Can
is
I
a
hold
crime.
on? Can I ask you a question?
Child support is a crime.
Hold on, real quick, my brother got it. Hey, Thriving, you on these panels a lot?
I've been on this platform a few days. I
If
don't
all
know.
the
I'm on level 14, so 14 days. Go ahead.
if there was nothing but good men on this panel that were righteous and were trying to do what you're doing, and then you add one man in the equation who lies to the women and pander to the women, would the women follow the righteous men who are trying to implement those things, or would they follow the man that comes on the panel that's lying and pandering to women?
I am going to answer you with a question.
No,
Just
no, please
because
don't
No,
answer
I'm
me.
you're
going
gonna
to
No, please
answer,
answer.
don't.
No,
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 please
you're
don't do that.
gonna.
Melanie, just
No,
1 second. I'm
no,
No,
going
but
to
no,
you
no,
have
answer
to
brother.
him.
answer the
No,
I
no,
have
question.
no,
to. I have
no,
to. I
no. You
have
can't.
to.
I asked you a
I
question.
have to. I have to answer
No,
how I
I'm not gonna.
answer. You
And
can
ma'am, I'm not gonna
accept it or
answer.
leave it.
I'm not gonna answer your question.
Did
No, but
Moses stop
thriving.
taking people to
No,
Egypt
and
just
this is
because
what
a
the
few
problem.
people wanted
You
to go
can't
back
do
to
that,
Egypt?
This
thriving.
is this
I
is the problem.
can.
A
I
sister
can
No,
and I
comes
because
on. No,
will.
just
you can just answer the question
she's
and then
showing
add
example what we're
additional
talking about. She's
context.
only trying to
No,
make it
no,
about.
no,
You're
no, no,
making it
no.
about
Let me show you
yourself.
something.
Look,
Let me show
look
you
what you're
why
doing.
I
You're
said
showing the
that.
point. You're making our
She
point.
shouldn't even
Prove
answer.
No,
your
hang
point.
on. Let me show you why I
No, you're
said that.
combative. No, you're combative now. We can't even get you to listen. So you're
No, let me show you when I
counterproductive.
say
No, I'm
that,
not, ma'am.
right?
I'm not listening to you. I'm not supposed to listen to you. You're supposed to listen
So
to
so
me.
when
That's what you said. Look, you're
when
trying to
when
talk
it
over
comes
us.
when it comes to leadership, right? Let's talk
No,
Moses in
ma'am.
the
You're
Bible
just
for an
talking about no
example,
one's
since you
listening to
brought
you
up the
right now.
Bible,
You
right?
done lost it. No, ma'am. You lost the credibility. You're
When it
trying to.
comes to Moses,
She's
did
still
he
trying to
stop
talk.
from going to the promised land because a few people
I'm
said
not
that they
going.
couldn't
I
go to
don't
the
know why you
promised
asking
land?
us a question
He
while
did
you
not
over talking.
stop. He kept going and he fulfilled the mission. So
But
those
Thriving.
men with the mission,
she's the
they have
epitome
to
of
Thriving. You're
women that.
trying to
continue on
tell
the
you're trying to
mission.
tell you're trying to tell men what to
Crazy.
do, but you can't even answer a man's question. You've been sitting here and I've been listening. You're telling men what they need to do. You're literally your
I'm
whole
just
topic
making a
right now.
suggestion.
Hold on. Okay, but you're suggesting to men what they should do. But when a man asks you a yes or no question, you can't even answer him. So how are you getting to tell men what they should be doing?
All right. Well, as a man, I want to
Hold
know
on.
why
I want
wouldn't
to
it
hear her
work?
answer first.
Why wouldn't it work?
Right, Cash,
Hold
Cash.
on.
Maybe if it comes from a man, men will listen. Maybe
Now
that's the
you going with
problem.
the
Maybe if
now
it
you going
comes
with the
from a
man.
woman,
But
Now
you're
it's
I'm
a
not
telling you.
problem.
answering.
Look,
You're
she's
not
making y'all.
answering.
Hey Melon, she's literally making the point. Now he's supporting her, and she's gonna get him to talk so she can support him. She's not worrying about me. She making it
I
about
am
yourself.
answering, but the way I'm
No,
answering, you don't
no,
want to
Thrive, and you
hear it
showed the
because
point.
it creates
No,
accountability
you're
on the men.
avoiding accountability.
The problem. You part of the
Leadership,
problem.
leadership. When you are the leader, you're not going to wait on women. Oh, these
Now you're
women have the
telling men what to do.
Yeah,
property to
and
be
when
a
you're
leader.
Now
That
she
Robin,
is
where's
not
your
listening.
how
husband?
that works.
hold on, the host is
Robin, where's
talking.
your
The
husband?
host is talking.
Got some feedback somewhere. That's all I was saying. I don't know what it's
It's
saying. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
Cash.
has
what's going
Cash, you
on.
feedback.
have feedback,
So,
Cash.
Robin, are you married?
I'm sorry, who's asking me that
Are you
question? Make
married?
yourself known. I am a widow. What's your point?
You're a widow? And how
Yes,
long have you
what's your
been a
point?
widow? How long have you been a widow, Robin?
Why is it this relevant to the
Well,
to
you
the
asked a
question at
bunch of
hand?
questions that we
Right, you
answered them
can
all.
right now
We
you don't want to answer
followed
questions.
your
I'm not
whole call
asking
ride.
questions. I'm
Thriving, we
trying to
followed your
give
If
a
whole
she
call
doesn't want
ride.
to
suggestion.
answer a personal
Thriving.
question, we have to respect if she
Yeah,
does not
just
want
let
to
it go,
answer
man.
personal
She
questions.
became the women she talking about, brother. Just
So,
let it
right.
go.
So thriving, so you now you have
Talk
children, right?
that
So
fast.
yeah. So I don't know if you've been gone for 4 or 5 years and you haven't since remarried. It's not sharing. What you're saying doesn't appear to be a submissive woman at home as a wife. You sound like a poser that feels that
Hmm.
you're entitled from somewhere where you came from, and now you have picked up American ways, but you don't know you picked up American ways, and now you're
Hmm.
Americanized, but you don't know you're
Hmm.
not Americanized, and you still dealing with some residue of where you come from or wherever you think you were raised, and maybe your parents hold on to those values, but you don't know how much you've embraced, and you came up here thinking you were going to do a service with no direction. They were asking for clear direction on where you go. You started talking about weird things like just meet in the hallway and eat crackers and just not even look. Every company that's ever existed, just so you know, thriving, they look at the issues first. Every team that's losing, they look at the issues first. They might have an argument in a meeting because they're looking at where are we failing first before we get start winning. They don't just have a meeting and say, forget that we're 2-500 and we ain't won a game in 16 years. They don't say, just forget that we filed bankruptcy as a company 4 times. They don't say these kind of things so they can have success moving forward. They look at it, what has made us file bankruptcy 4 times? And so this panel, these guys are addressing, and the women and the men over here are wrestling through. Why have we gotten where we got? And your response is, y'all just need to put a pin in it and move on. And in a regular meeting, you would just be either be escorted out or be considered disingenuous. So when they stopped and said, okay, can you give us tangible things that we can use in this meeting? You start losing credibility in any meeting that's ever existed if you don't have any value to bring to the table. If you just start saying things that cannot tangibly be used or measured or valued, all of a sudden the adult people no longer see you as that. And you can't fix that unless you start bringing some value to the table. So if it's something that you have actually to deal with, what we're saying is the data that we're dealing with now is very new, right? A lot of stuff that we have in our country in terms of where we are, we've never been able to measure where we are. We've told the men for 45 summers that the stuff they needed to do. So the men have been working on it, and over 9 categories, the men are beginning to lead or sincerely change. But in the last 4 summers, Dr. Hashar Ali said, it's only been 4 summers that we have now been on a more national scale of holding women accountable. And the men, we did it for 10 times longer, and they've been taking it and calling each other meetings and guys, we got to do better. But soon as we started going to the women, when we started looking at the exact same numbers, we started looking at the exact same data and the exact same meetings. It was you're abusive. You guys are mean. We're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're just looking at the numbers. Oh, you guys are, y'all tearing us down. No, no, no. We in shock and awe right now. We didn't have these numbers before. We didn't know what was going on with our children. We didn't have all of this data sets that we have now. So we're working through shock and awe. And now we're starting having meetings. First, we in any meeting, just so you know, Thriving, when somebody commits a crime or do something harmful to you, the first thing you do is you have to accept that there was some thriving pain or something happened. And then you settle down and figure out, let's deduce and make sense of what just happened. What you're experiencing with BLK people in America, as they often do when they kind of rule the planet and advancements, as because we're going to rule this in advancement. The rest of the world will be looking at how we did it, making sense of how we got here, right? So we're the fastest to ever start reading after we were told we couldn't read in the world history. We have about 26 areas where we're in the Guinness Book of World Records. So we're probably going to do it again when we look at the condition of the BLK family and how sick it is and how we allowed ourselves to get here. And we're going to start working with some really ugly issues first, and then we're going to get better. But what we're not going to do is have people come in a meeting. They have a sense of superiority. They haven't remarried again, which is with all due respect to you. I don't know if he left last year, but if it's been 4 or 5 years, then that qualifies for you to remarry again. And we don't really, no disrespect to you, we don't really care. It's not our plight. But for you to come in and not give us any real solutions. I come from 7 generations of married people. So I would ask my 106-year-old aunt, my 104-year-old aunt, my grandfather just passed at 100 years old. I would ask them, and my brother got married at 18, right? So I'm gonna give you tangible stuff. He bought his first house at 18. My other brother got married at 20. I got 60 married cousins, and we were been raised and trained a certain way. If you came up here, Mr. Thriving, and said, I got some tangible stuff. I don't know where you're from, but let's say you say, I'm from Ghana. I'm from Ethiopia, and my family goes back 700 years, and I want to share some practical things that we do. We probably would have been taking notes. But you just said, come together, have a meeting, put a pin in it, and then move on. And our people said, I'm sorry.
Am I allowed to respond?
Sure, I'm ready. I'm a land. But when we,
okay,
and then we asked you again, and then, hold on, I'm ready to get ready to give it to you. And hopefully again, when you have this time, you can give us something. If you don't have anything that you can say, honestly, guys, I don't really have anything to offer you guys. That will be just fine too.
Okay. Am I good to go? All right. So let me just say this. I didn't even say any of this until Ali asked me a question. He asked me what would be the solution. And that's where the response came from.
So what would be the solution?
Well, you were not listening. The solution is coming together as men coming together and saying, you know what? What's the problems in our community that we all face from East Coast to West Coast? And tackling one problem every quarter or whatever, however it needs to be tackled. Having meetings about it, being organized about it, setting people in place, action items in place, and actively working on those problems. What I hear most of the time on these panels, it's a lot of complaining, day in, day out, day in, day out. No solution in sight, no suggestions in sight, just men complaining over and over. The reason I put it on men is because much is given, much is required. You are the leaders and the protectors of your communities. You might not think that, but the rest of the world sees you as such. So you can either sit here on these platforms and continuously point fingers at your women and your children and the elderly, or you can pick up your torch and be the leaders and the providers you were meant to be. So you can get mad at me for telling you this because it's coming from the mouth of a woman, or you can actually mobilize yourselves, organize yourselves, and do what needs to be done.
Religious? Are you religious?
And what I'm saying, hang on.
Are you religious,
I will say that I will land. When I land, I'll say I'll land, right? I'm not going to take too long.
I'm just asking, are you religious?
And what I said was, once you do that, once you organize yourselves and decide, hang on, and decide, you know, what's acceptable from your women, your children, your elderly, and so on, the women will follow you. You already have a group of women that support you.
I'm telling you right now, I don't care.
Let her finish.
Can I finish, please?
You know, you have God and men.
Hold on, let her finish.
Song, you went on for 5 minutes. Can I have a couple minutes? That's max, I promise. You have women that's already supporting you, who are on your side, right? Once you make a decision and you mobilize yourselves and get the other men on your side, these other men will follow. They won't have a choice. I was answering the question that was asked of me. It wasn't me just coming up here and randomly giving you these solutions and all this stuff. I was asked that.
Okay,
So
Thriving.
mhm,
Thriving.
go ahead.
we all get together and put this plan together that you said, that you as a woman say we need to get together and put this plan together. Are you and your women willing to follow us and our plan without your input? You want us to lead it. Are y'all willing to follow?
I, speaking for myself, 110%. That's why I said that women like me, we can be on the sidelines supporting you however you need, whether it's money, whether you asking me to be a secretary, whether you're asking me to send out emails, whether you're asking me to set up meetings. I don't care what I have to do, but
Okay,
we
so
have to get organized.
I knew you would say yes, but you couldn't follow the leadership of the host, the co-host, and one of the head panelists to stop and answer the simple question that was asked of you.
I was just here talking to you guys. What did I
You,
do wrong?
you
What do
still
you
didn't
have against
respond.
me?
You
Act
still
like
didn't
a
What do you
respond.
have
victim.
against me?
You
Don't
still
act like
no
a
one had no
victim.
no no hold on. So
No,
so
what is
can
it
I
that you
let me
have
let me
against me? What
hold
did
on.
I do
You
wrong?
said when we vocalize our issue, right? How do you get women who don't want to listen to listen? Can you give us the solution to that? So that's what I'm asking you. We asked you
I'm
to
sorry,
answer
what's
a
the
question.
question?
You gave us all these solutions. How do you get women to
Mm-hmm.
listen that don't want to listen? If we're leaders, if
Mm-hmm.
we're being providers and protectors, can you tell us how we
Mm-hmm.
get women? Because you keep saying if we do what leaders are supposed to do, when women aren't following the leaders, when women are overlooking the good men and picking their so-called bad men and the men they don't, that are liars and cheaters and abusers, and they look over the honest men with integrity who are leading. How do you get women to follow the righteous men if they're choosing the
Okay,
unrighteous
okay,
men?
okay. I will answer this, right? Simply by starving out bad behaviors. Do you think 3 or 4 behaviors is okay? Do you think 3 or 4 behaviors is okay? Starve that out. Do you think women sleeping with men and having children out of a wedlock is okay? Starve that out. Do you think
You're having a bad
starve
faith
it, do
argument.
not give it
Men
energy, do
already
not give time, effort, nothing.
you're having a bad faith argument. 70%, 1% of our women are unmarried. Men leave their women. Like when they need to, when they finally have to leave their women, they do leave. So if you're supposed to just leave, that's not being a leader. You're
I'm
supposed to
not
be able to
saying
no
leave.
hold
I say
ma'am,
starve it,
oh, man,
meaning don't
okay,
give it
so okay,
attention.
man, please
Don't
don't
give it
talk over me. Okay,
attention.
so that's fine, that's fine. So if a man doesn't
Okay.
give bad behavior attention, does the woman perform better or does she leave her husband?
Oh,
So I is this husband
Can you
married to three
please,
or
ma'am,
four?
can you please answer my question, ma'am?
Your question out of alignment to what I'm saying. What I'm
Can you?
saying
No,
is
no, no,
if
you're
you
not. No, please
okay,
stop
let me
over
go
talk.
back
No, no,
because
no, you're not going back. You answered my question. I asked you again. If a 304 or women that's supposed to be our wives, we address
uh-huh.
them and give them corrective measures. Will women typically redirect themselves and correct themselves and say, "Yes, babe, I'm gonna do that," or does it push her more away and she ends up leaving you?
What does that have to do with the plan I set out for you
Now
to
you're
do
deflect. Now
or
you're
to
deflecting.
implement?
You told us to be good
Stay with the
leaders.
topic.
No,
Stay
no,
with the
ma'am.
topic.
So I'm gonna make this observation, right? You're not having a
Uh-huh.
conversation with me, and every time I ask you a question, you deflect, and I'm on the topic, and you're saying I'm not on the topic. You're deflecting from the topic because you asked us to give a solution. So if I correct the 304 or I correct my wife, but majority of brothers know when we correct women, they don't want to have no accountability and they'll shut down and leave their men, then why are you giving us a bad faith conversation by saying just be good leaders, just continue to be better men? When a man is better and he cares more, the women today treat
Ali,
them worse. Being
So
a
are
Ali,
you
please, being a
Ali,
please
saying
don't, being a please,
Ali.
please,
Wait,
please.
thriving. Hold on, Ali. Let me chime in real quick because I've
Okay,
been listening to this go on too long enough in my ear. It's driving my soul crazy. Okay, and Ali, I rock with you. Okay, I
please don't.
I,
You're
I
about to
rock with
take
you.
away from it being, ain't you?
No, but no. Listen, baby.
No,
Listen,
no, no.
listen,
Before you intervene, no,
listen.
no, no,
I
no, no,
want.
no, no. Hold on, because y'all
Okay.
both now. She cut me off. Now you cut me off. So I'm gonna ask you, since you're
Oh
gonna
boy.
come in front of her. Do most women respond positively to men that give them correction, or do they shut down?
Well, I was going to respond to the way that you were even
Can
just
somebody,
asking her
They
the
shut
question.
down. They
Bina,
shut
if you
down.
respect
The
me,
way how you,
Bina, can y'all, Bina, this is what I'm
can,
saying. She just said to give a solution and do a quick fix. It takes y'all
if
forever.
you would
All year. Let me,
even
Bina,
let
no,
me get,
Bina, you're doing what she doing. It
I
takes
can't
y'all
even get
forever
my
just to,
response
no,
out
because
Hold
you don't
though.
on. Hold
answer.
on.
You
Hold
don't
on. Hold
answer.
on. Hold on. Time out, everybody. Host. The bigger play.
Man.
Bigger plate. Do you mind this dialogue or can they continue?
Yeah, come on. What's wrong? Y'all, everything good?
Okay. I just wanted to
Oh,
check in to make sure. Go ahead, continue.
wait, no, melanin, listen. You hear
Yes.
this dialogue going on, right?
Yes, and I don't have a
Okay.
problem with it.
Okay, so I just want to be able to actually get a complete sentence out before I
Yeah,
interrupt it.
Because you want to hit, but you're
but
doing what she
technically, hold
did.
on, Ali, hold on.
Just one complete
Bina,
sentence.
hold on,
Just
wait a
one.
minute, hold on.
Okay.
You
Okay.
interjected. He wasn't talking to you. Okay?
Uh-huh.
He was
Yeah.
talking to Thriving, and then you didn't
Mm-hmm.
like the heat that was coming on her and decided to interject. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't speak like as if you were interrupted. You
Mm-hmm.
technically are
Mm-hmm.
interrupting their dialogue.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
You're
so
absolutely correct.
if he doesn't want to yield to you because of this, you can't say
Mm-hmm.
he's over talking you. That's not fair.
That's I respect that. I respect that. But he
Okay.
then said that I'm talking to you now. He did say that.
Yeah, but let
Yeah,
him
and
finish the
you
question.
chose the. Hold on,
Let
real
him
quick,
finish
Melon.
the question, and then you got to understand. You guys need to understand who you're talking to. You're not talking to the women. You're talking to a man. When he's asking you a question, he wants a yes or no response, and then you can ask to add additional context. But you guys
Okay.
want to answer the way you want to answer, which is disrespectful because you're talking to men, not women.
Mm-hmm.
But he moved
Mm-hmm.
it on to Bina. He said, since she's not going to
No,
answer, then you
I
answer.
understand, song, but the
I did, but
question
she
he's
didn't.
asking is a yes or no. It's a
She's
direct
not
response
answering, brother. She's
question.
doing the same thing Thriving was doing. She's not answering the question, even though that's my girl. But she's not answering.
I,
Okay, let
that's,
it out. Let's finish your question. Answer your
No,
question and then
before I ask you, because this is what
mm-hmm.
happens. I'm gonna ask the brothers. When you typically correct women, are they receptive to it and go, "My king, you're the one who leads me. I'm using my divine intuition to continue to follow you, and I'm gonna respond to your redirection in a positive manner." Or do women shut down typically?
Women
They
shut
sh-
down.
they shut down
Okay.
and they get combative.
Right.
Yeah.
So pause there real quick. Why does it take our whole entire lives to get women just to acknowledge that's what other women are doing, and instead of deflecting? And y'all, when we become better men, when we become better leaders, women become worse. When a man is savage, when a man don't give a damn, when he becomes unrighteous, he gets the most women possible.
Facts. Well, he's
I,
emotionally intelligent and
right?
he got a sense of head. That's what
If
they
Adam
doing.
was brutal, we still be here. If he
And
smacked the apple,
exactly.
pushed it down, we still be here. But he
So
was
And
so
kind
again,
exactly.
enough, and now we
so
here.
again, men becoming better don't make better women today. In order to get better women, women have to come together in masses and correct other women and make women want to be better. It's men already being better. We're better than supposedly our fathers. 57% of black men are in middle class. Black women have the most debt and the least amount of wealth. 54% of men are childless and single. 36% of men are married. 29% of men are married. So finances, we make more than you. And I ain't even try to compete. It's just women always try to talk down on men. And then y'all go, why you comparing ourselves to us? Because you keep talking down on us and trying to compete with us. We just want your cooperation. So if we're excelling at those things, if the men are involved with their children, if the men are living with their kids, when are women gonna say we need to just get be better women and correct the women? We keep fumbling the bag. We don't listen. We never hold ourselves accountable. Everything is about us. It's about our self love and happiness. And even when we by ourselves, we still miserable. Where a man can sit in front of the TV, watch the game, or play the game, and he's at peace.
can I respond to you, Ali, please?
Yeah, after you,
Part
then
two, if
Thriving
that's
wants to.
okay.
What was that, Thriving?
Part two, if that's all right.
Yeah, go
Go
ahead, Bina,
ahead,
and then
darling.
Thriving.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say the only thing I was going to say to you, to Ali, is that everything you said has been factual, 100% facts. I agree. Well, I can't say it's facts, but I can just say that I agree with the things that you've said, but I disagree with your delivery of it. And I can understand why the things that you have said has been lost in the translation of your delivery. And the thing is that you're not hearing yourself. You're not on the receiving end of what you're saying, right? And it's okay, baby. Don't. It's okay. You can get frustrated, right? But I understand you're passionate about the things that you're saying. We've had this conversation. We talked about this. We talked
My
about
delivery. What's wrong with my
your
delivery?
Nothing.
it's very
What's wrong?
aggressive.
Why do y'all accept Derek Jackson delivery, Ace Metaphor delivery, tonight
Because
conversation,
they're
man?
simping.
But why do you
There was
accept all the
nothing
men
wrong.
who
No,
talk
I'm
down
just
on men? Why do you
saying.
accept
No,
Queen
I'm
Maker
just
delivery? Why
saying.
do you
I'm
Bina,
just
accept
there was
all the
saying.
nothing wrong with
y'all
his
just be ain't
delivery.
nothing wrong with
There
my
was nothing
delivery?
wrong
Okay,
There's
with
well
it.
nothing
maybe
wrong
if you
with his
just maybe
delivery.
He wasn't
No, you don't want to
disrespectful.
hear it. You
men.
don't want to hear it. You just
No,
He
no,
want
no,
to
no,
wasn't
talk.
no. I didn't
disrespectful.
say. I
No,
didn't say
no,
it was
no, you
disrespectful.
did because if I talked about men and dogged out men with the same
Did I?
delivery, a lot
Did I
you
ever say you were
most.
disrespectful?
No, Bina, if I talked about men in the same delivery, I said men need to stop being deadbeats. Men need to take care of their kids. Men need to be protectors and providers. Go tell them, like y'all don't like being corrected.
At all.
And
That
At
is
all.
not what I was saying,
Brother
that
Hold
is
Sully.
on.
what is wrong with my
brother
delivery?
Ali,
What is wrong with
brother,
my delivery?
brother
I was
Ali.
just
There's
saying.
nothing, but hold on, hold on. Let Thriving go.
Go ahead, Tyler.
Okay, so I wanted to clarify because I was asked a question and I answered, and people didn't like my answer. Let me maybe give you a background of why I said what I said. Growing up in Africa, right? Grow up in America now. I saw men will have councils among men. They'll have meetings about the community, about the village. They will come together with the objective of what they're gonna carry out for that time frame. And then each husband or father will carry out those objectives to his household, where the woman will pass it on to the children. There was order. That's what I said. You cannot sit here and wait for your women to cooperate. You have to get yourselves together, organize yourselves, and set order in your communities. And that's where I was coming from. I do not understand why that's so difficult for you all to do,
There
other
Thriving.
cannot
than
be
you've
What
never
order.
what
seen it being
community
modeled
thrives
to
without
you.
what community thrives without their women? What
It
community
can't be no
thrives without
order.
their women?
There
Can you tell
cannot
me?
there
Oh,
cannot
hey,
be
brother,
no
Now,
hold on.
now
order.
Hey,
without, there's
what community?
roles. There's
What community
roles.
thrives without their women thriving?
What I said, did I say that
What can
women
you
were
answer?
completely taken?
What community thrive? You say men keep getting better. Don't worry about the women. What community can you thrive like that where you don't worry about the woman correcting herself, holding herself accountable, and fulfilling
That
her
is not
role?
what I said, Ali.
You
You're
are.
being
You are saying you no.
disingenuous. You
You're
are
being
being
disingenuous.
disingenuous
You
because
said
that is
men.
not what I said. I
It
will
is
repeat
what you
what I
said.
said. What I said, listen very carefully,
I'm
please.
listening to you.
What I said was what I saw men do, leaders in our communities. They will have meetings amongst the men, and then each man individually would take those talking points or those goals or whatever it was into his household, where his wife had to carry that out, and to the children as well. But the men came together by themselves and set order of what that village or what that community was going to do. And my question is, why is that so hard for you guys to do? Why do you need the women to be there? That's my question.
In Africa, isn't it? There's different culture. The women are taught to be wives, and there's consequences for their behaviors in Africa, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
so why are you comparing that to a Western world where there's no consequences for women? They don't have to be responsible. They don't have to listen. They can pick themselves. In Africa, it's a whole different culture. Well, you're being disingenuous.
They don't have to submit here. We want them to, but they don't have to. Over
But what
there,
I
And
So
then
asked
in
you,
one of
Ali,
the
I
Ali,
want
in
to
one of the
ask a
key
But you
things,
still
question.
hold on,
saying,
hold
but
on, hold on. And one of the key things that you said, Thriving, is men got with other men and had these discussions. So you're still proving the fact that how are you sitting up here telling men what they should be doing by your own statement?
I'm just answering the question. I
No,
was asked a
answer no,
question and
answer
I
that.
answered. Why is
Answer
my
that
Yeah,
part
answer
she
not
though.
did say
okay?
one thing I agree with. She
because
said,
I already asked a brother song. I asked her in this country when men get better, do the women become better too? And it's
no,
false. They
right,
don't.
they
So
don't.
it serves no purpose except for us just being able to take care of ourselves for men to continue to get better when women get worse.
But she did say what we already doing and what Ali already said to, alluded to. You said thriving, then just leave them. And what's happening? We're
we're
leaving them.
leaving. We're leaving.
That's all that's happening is we're actually doing what you say. It might not look culturally like you understand it to me, but what's happening in our national statistics is we're just leaving them. The numbers for men dating BOK women that are not American right now is up 300%. Men are choosing other options. They're not. Marriage is 600,000 more married BOK women than I'm sorry, the BOK men than it is women. Even though there's 2 more million women than us, the marriage rate for the men is gradually going up, but the marriage rate for our women is drastically dropping. It is stated that in the next 18 months, our women's marriage rate is going to go below 20%. So what you just said, Mr. Ivan, is already happening. The men are just
Okay,
leading the way.
so song,
and
song,
and
can get
song
song. Hold
and
on. Can
song
you put
and
a pin
song
in?
that a
Can you put
song.
a pin in that song? And Ali, before you respond to song, Ali, let me sing a song. Well, damn, did I put a pun in that song? I want to say something to you, Ali, because I want to make this very stark distinction to you, and this is to the panel too, because I'm gonna make it real quick. Give me 30 seconds. I want you to tell me the difference in how this sounds, right? I'm gonna give you the same statements, and I'm gonna say it to you in two different ways. And I'm gonna
I
ask
know you're not about to
you
Bina,
do it in
what
that
Bina,
it
way.
I'm
what
gonna
was it?
let you hold on, Bina. I'm gonna let you
Oh
do
my
this,
God.
but it
This
doesn't.
crazy.
It's a man's delivery.
This
He
Come
doesn't
on,
have to
crazy,
alter
yo.
his
man.
This is
delivery
crazy what you
to
about to
appease
do.
a
This
woman's
is
feelings.
crazy.
But I know what you're doing.
Even the
I'm gonna let
feminine
you.
women be doing this, yo. This is
Can
crazy.
I
Y'all make it
speak,
about y'all make the
please?
conversation about
Can
you.
I
Why you
please
make it?
speak?
It's not about me
It
at
is.
Yes,
Why you
all.
it
trying to coach
is.
me on delivery? I
Hold
got
on,
two
hold on,
businesses.
Ali.
I take care of my family. I'm in the
Brother
community.
Ali,
Brothers, I
brother
got brothers,
Ali,
sisters. I mean, this.
brother
Hold
Ali,
on,
Who's
Hold
saying
on,
brother
this,
Ali?
yo.
hold
Can I
on.
speak?
brother
Just
Ali,
real
real
quick.
quick,
I've been
brother
asking.
Ali,
Can I speak?
as 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 black men, brother, I know what you're saying. As black men, we don't argue with women, sir. We just say what we got to say directly, and we let it go. Am I right? Am I wrong?
Oh,
You're doing a
definitely
lot
for
of
sure.
arguing, brother. Okay, brother. Well, we don't need to do any
Hey,
arguing.
disco. Hey,
You know
hey,
what I
hey,
mean?
disco.
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
disco. Nobody arguing for family. Don't please don't go left like that. Y'all be killing me with this stuff when y'all start doing stuff. The good thing about what
Be-
a lot of sisters do is they stick together when
because
they
we're
doing something, even
arguing.
though
We're
no, ain't
arguing.
nobody's
That's what I
arguing.
mean.
Brother,
Hold
in
on,
other
hold on.
countries, you can't even talk when a man talks. When he raises his
I know
voice, it's
about
not
that.
feminine. No, so
I
what are
know
you
about
talking
that.
about? So what are you
I know
talking about?
about that. We
Then what are
don't.
you talking about? Why are you deflecting? Why are you
You
making this
see,
about you and you want to coach another man how he should talk?
I'm not. Hold on,
Miss
brother. Hold on,
Melanin,
man. Don't.
No, I'm not holding
Melanin, can
on.
I
Don't tell
speak?
me to hold
Hold
on.
on, hold on, guys.
Man.
Time out. So Pick Me's been in the
Just don't
chat.
argue, brother. Go ahead, pick me.
Thank you,
Yeah, Pick Me's
Disco.
been asking to speak. So
Thank you,
let's let her
thank you,
go.
thank you. First off, I want to tell you men, I've enjoyed listening to you. And then I want to say, I think, to the women, um, one, Melanin, you had just mentioned, we can't tell men how to talk, right? I think a
Yes.
lot of times that we get our feelings hurt. We want you to be all nice. We want you to, put a bow on it as you're talking to us. We have to first understand that these men are not our husbands, right? At the end of the day, generally your husband may talk to you in that manner because he knows you. So he knows maybe your feelings get hurt about this, that, or the other. So he may talk to you he's gonna call you baby or honey or whatever nice words he's gonna use. But these are men that we don't know who are just giving us the real. So I think that's one thing. We can't police men and tell them how to talk. These are the leaders, and leaders generally are assertive. They're generally very honest. They're going to say what they need to say. And that's just it. But for us to say, oh, well, you need to talk to us this way, or you need to say it that way. I've not heard any man call any woman a name. I haven't heard any cursing. I haven't heard any yelling. I haven't heard any degrading. So there's been no disrespect. You just want it to be nicer. And I don't think we have the right to tell men how to speak. That's one thing. Secondly, listening to the men speak, I don't know. I got off the panel because there were mostly men. And for me, it was nice for us to hear men talking and coming up with some suggestions and bouncing stuff off of each other. But women feel the need to talk. Women feel the need to tell men what they need to do, how they need to do it, how they're not doing it right. We don't want to answer questions. We want them to answer our questions. And that's not right. At some point, we have to start taking accountability for how we treat who we call the leaders. These men are leaders. They may not be the leader of your home, but they are a leader of someone's home. They're men. They are leaders. They submit to God as we submit to our man. So at the end of the day, I think as women, sometimes it's okay for us to be quiet. It's okay for us to sit and listen to the men. But many women feel that they have so much to say, so they have to come up. They have to talk. They have to tell men what they should be doing, how they should be doing it. And I think that's a problem. Sometimes, ladies, maybe we just sit it out and let the men talk, and we sit back and we listen and learn. And I land.
Okay, Bina, go ahead. I don't want you to feel like you didn't get to speak.
Okay, so the only thing I was going to say is that I never said that I disagreed with anything that Ali said. I did acknowledge that I heard everything he said. I heard, right? But I just wanted to make a distinction, like with his delivery and how sometimes your message can be lost in translation. And he does come off as very argumentative and combative in his delivery. And now I don't think he intends to be that way, but I'm just
Bina, can I ask you
acknowledging
a
that.
question?
Yes, sweetie.
You said he comes off argumentative. What statement came off argumentative?
No, his entire delivery comes off as argumentative, but I don't think he intends. That's
How
just his passion that comes
how is
across.
a but do you understand that you're saying him just speaking is coming like you're doing that thing women do where you label something that you find uncomfortable, you're labeling it as a bad thing.
Mhm.
No, it's not a
He
bad
but he's not
thing.
arguing. He only
What I'm
spoke his
saying is
statement.
that his no, I get that. I acknowledge that. I'm just saying his message can get lost in translation based off of the delivery. Again, we had this conversation. Ali and I had this conversation already. So we talked about this because
But can you give him context? So, like, was Malcolm argumentative? Was Martin Luther King argumentative? Was Marcus Garvey argumentative? Was Mandela
well, I didn't
argumentative?
speak to them
No, no, no.
directly. I
Hold
don't
on. Those
know.
men spoke like what is about what I'm saying? If you believe in people speaking with passion or speaking clearly, and you're asking men to be truthful, asking men to be emotionally intelligent, or emotionally available, what is it about my delivery that's argumentative?
Okay.
If I may, I
They
will
can't
tell you
Okay.
control the
exactly.
narrative.
No, he's talking to Bina. No.
No, I'm not saying that he should talk like a rainbow man. What I'm saying is that you can be a little more like gentle in your tone, not just, I mean, because it comes off cross as very aggressive. Okay, so this is what I was going to use as an example. Like one small smidget, like if a woman said, um, this is a statement, baby, can you pick up the laundry, right? Just baby, can you pick up the laundry, right?
Yes.
Let me
What? Are we
finish.
really
Let
doing
me
this?
Let her
finish.
have it.
Let
Let her
me
have it.
finish. Let
Let
me
her have
finish.
it.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Baby, can you pick up the laundry? Right? Baby, can you pick up the motherfucking laundry?
Said it. What I said it. I said
Or
things.
no, you didn't curse, but I'm just saying you heard the difference in the tone, and it's I said the same thing, but the delivery was different.
Yeah, but Lita, I
Hey,
want
Versus
that
hey,
part of
hey,
Hold on,
don't
wait. Let
ask.
Ali respond. Let Ali
Don't
respond.
ask,
Then
hey, yo,
song.
don't ask for kings. Don't ask for protection from men. Don't ask for real men. Keep supporting the GAY men.
okay.
Keep supporting the Transformers. Keep supporting men who ain't got no
That's
vocal behind their voice.
but
Keep
and I,
supporting men who ain't got no bass. It's funny that I speak with the passion that I speak, that I fulfill all the responsibilities that women are. But it's like you want a
okay.
man that's your version of a man that ultimately
Mm,
becomes a woman because there's nothing, any, if a man hear me talk or most men hear me talk, most brothers are supportive, and so are the sisters. But when a
okay.
sister start checking my delivery as a man, if you would
Hmm.
want no man to check me, if you want me to lead the nation, you won't want no other leader to check me. Why do women always feel the right to check their king and their
yeah,
leaders?
I think that needs to be addressed. So First Peter, this
Wait,
is what
hold
I'm
on,
going to
song. I
answer
don't
it.
mean to interrupt you. I just don't want
I'm
Thriving to
done.
feel like she's not able to speak. Right after Thriving, song, you can go. I'm sorry, sir. Thriving, you can go ahead.
Melanin, first of all, I appreciate you keeping order. I really do. And there's no hard feelings from my end. I understand.
Thank you.
Ali, I would just say this. I think my issue was you asked me a question, I answered the question, and then you had issue with my answer, and or you want me to answer a certain way. And that's problematic to me because I see that as a disingenuous. We cannot have productive, solution-driven conversations from that angle. That's I don't care about your tone. You can shout from the rooftop to the from the ocean. I don't care. But if we can just keep the points that we are talking about, those points, and then we can move the conversation. Other than that, your delivery is fine with me,
Make sure y'all
honestly.
observe. Make sure the people from the chat observe. Make sure the people on the panel observe. Women are asking for leaders and saying they'll cooperate with men, but both of them are still trying to coach men.
For
All the
sure.
women
So
come up here to keep coaching men on how they should behave, how they should talk, but you want a leader that you can control. That's what it really is. Most women want the man that they can control. They don't want
of
a
course.
leader.
So I do want to address
Song
that
has the
though,
floor.
because so for, you know, First Peter, it gives a very specific direction that a man, the husband, is supposed to understand the emotional makeup of his wife. I know my wife has HSP and so she's sensitive to certain things. And you know, my grandmother said, my great aunt 104, she said, "Let me tell you something about these younger women. Their fathers raised them and mothers raised them so terrible. They all run around like fairy tales, and they think it is the whole planet that needs to talk to them like they're their daughter, their princess." She's like, "When we grew up, men talked like how men talked. If you went into the market." And she's 104 years old. If a guy says something directly, that's not, and if a man didn't like it, he was your husband or your father. And then they talked to him. But men talk directly. They didn't ask the world to adjust themselves and be over here. That's that feminist nonsense. And so I hear you guys. I can understand if Ali was your husband. I can understand if he was maybe even your brother. But asking a guy on a panel in a public forum in a TikTok place to watch how he says it, whatever, and he's not cursing. Now, if you said that personally offended me when you called me X, Y, and Z, that's different. But if he's not doing that and there's a banter back and forth, and now you want to control his delivery, well, the Creator says in Genesis 3, the women will always try to circumvent the power of the men. They will want their power without the responsibility. And that's going to be a challenge that many of you will have to the day you unalive. So this is yet another form. This is the discipline of a woman where they call me pick me, basically said this is where she trained on. I don't need to do that. I'm not, my wife will say on a regular basis, I have so little time to ever come to my husband on something he needs to work on. She said, oh, I wouldn't have picked him. If I need to be doing that to him all the time, I should have not picked him. I picked the greatest man I can believe I can find in my circle. And for the most part, I respect his leadership. If he say go left, we go left. If he say sit down, we sit down. If he say baby, it's time to go, she say, well, else I wouldn't have picked him. I wouldn't have picked a man that I don't like how he thinks and how he leads and the direction if he goes if I got to keep touching stuff. So then don't pick him. So I don't understand why you would come on a public forum and ask this man to speak like a man and then say, I just want to tweak how you speak like a man. He ain't your man. Now you can do that
Okay,
when you get
no,
your man,
well,
but you can't.
song.
Now hold on.
Done.
Let me just
He's
say,
not
I'll
done.
land after this. In these kind of forms, it's again because these guys, Derek Jackson, make y'all think that all of y'all belong to us. You don't. You, if your husband wants to study your emotional makeup and what type of volume you like, that's cool. But asking other men in any other form, that's not cool. Expectation that is not agreed upon by the opposite party is the beginning of abuse. So if you expect something from any men that they didn't agree to on their side, that's the beginning of a gap. It's bad. It's not healthy. It's really not okay.
No.
Can I? Okay, so I will say this. To Song, I understand exactly what you're saying, and this is a public forum, and it is wrong. It's wrong of me to try to police his tone on a public forum where he's speaking to multiple people and not directly to me myself. However, I was just this is a again, this is a conversation we have already previously had
Well,
about
you
how
gotta
he
stop
comes
saying that. He
across.
has a wife. That's not okay.
Hold on, Song. Let her
And
finish.
listen. This is not one of okay, whatever.
Watch your
Let's that's
delivery.
beside the
Watch your
point. Listen,
delivery.
okay. What I would say is to your point where you're saying that um if that's not your man, you can't police his tone and all of that. I will say that I had to tell my father who I adore. I had to tell him. I said, listen, I am not a child. I am your child, but I'm not a child. You do not speak to me in that
You out of
manner.
pocket.
You,
Out of
no,
line.
I was
Hold
You
not.
on.
out
Let
of
her
pocket.
finish. Hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on. Let her finish.
No, no. Because guess what? My dad is on the decline. He's in his late 60s and he's losing his goddamn mind. and he done lost his goddamn mind when he gonna think he gonna talk to me like any type of way. I'm not
I'm glad you
going
said that
for it.
about your own father.
Hey,
No,
son.
Let her,
I
Hey,
hold
love my
on.
daddy.
I
Hey,
love
I
let
that you
her
said that.
love
Now
my
finish.
we know who
daddy.
to
I
never
Hey,
talk to.
excuse me.
And
adore
if
Let
you
her
my
finish,
publicly said
please.
that, that's
Let her
fine.
I
finish.
adore
Let her
my
finish.
father. You let me tell you something, and anybody that knows me in real life knows it. So there's nothing you can tell me about my relationship with my dad that you know what I mean that can change that. I adore my father. What I'm telling you is that when your parents go on the mental decline, they start to lose their mind. And he lost his mind. And he is
you're not
losing
making
his
sense.
mind.
That's not making sense. If my mother
Yeah.
and
What
father
I'm
lost that,
saying
no,
is
no, you're
he
not.
not it's just not me. Let me tell you something. It's
That
just
don't
not
make sense
me.
what you're saying. If
My
my mother and
okay.
father lost their mind, I would not respond to them with watch, hey, you better watch how you talking to me if
Correct.
they
And I
lost
would
their
not defame
mind.
them publicly. This is why you're
This
able to
was
say
my
to
first
all of us,
experience
I've
with
talked to
it.
Ali separately. I've talked to
Wow.
him about, so what?
This,
Who are
hey,
You're
you?
hey,
He
not
don't
son,
owe you
can we,
nothing. He
understanding.
don't
hey,
owe
yo,
you.
hey,
He
Okay.
can see
can
Hold
we
you.
on,
be real
hold
about
on.
so? Can we
Let's
be
hold
real?
on.
Can we be real? Oh, go ahead, Melanie.
Let
All
Song
right.
speak, and
Y'all
then
not even
Bina, were you
understanding.
done?
I
I'm
should
just
Okay.
going
be.
to share
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Y'all
yeah.
don't
So let Song
understand
speak, and then
controlling
Ali.
mechanisms. I'm just saying you don't understand manipulative tactics because you're raised in it and you don't know it. You don't really see it. There's a book I suggested most people here read by Linda Gibson. It's called Being Raised by Emotionally Immature Parents. And she just did a live thing. She's a legend. And she said one of the challenging things of immature adults is, and I'm not coming for anybody in particular. She said, but immature adults, one of the biggest challenges is reality for them is optional. It's optional. So they don't do well with self-reflection. And often they were parented poorly. And so they pick and choose what's reality, but their whole world is based on what they feel. So if they feel you was offensive, and the other one interviewing her said, but that's not how you move in success through life. She said, exactly. But to emotionally underdeveloped people, that's how they move through business circles, and they want to make sure you pronounce my name right. They want to try to coach the whole planet. They don't know how to move within the planet to win. They try to bend the whole planet for them, like we're in a living room. And so that is considered low emotional IQ. I'm saying it's cool that you're saying it, but we can't even get to figuring out what is her name? Thriving said about getting to the development of the community, because now we got to be talking about how his volume is and talking about it. So that
Okay,
wasted
well
so
get back
much
to that.
Hey,
time.
Go get
hey,
to back to
hey, hey, hey,
what I was
We're
saying
not
to
gonna do
you.
that. We're not gonna do that.
hey.
No, but what I want to say,
Oh,
No, we're not gonna do that, okay? And I don't like muting people. I don't want nobody to feel like I'm taking over my privileges or anything like that. So please don't make me mute you because I don't want to treat anyone like that, okay? But we have to be respectful. If Song is done speaking, it's Ali, and then Gotta P, Disco, and then back to you, Bina, because we can't just control the entire panel. There's other people up here. Respectfully to everyone.
so two observations, and this is how women have been socially engineered to check men. Because they, hey brothers, when have you ever heard a brother tell a sister to watch a delivery? One. Number
Never.
two, how often have you ever heard a woman tell another woman it's her delivery? They only tell it to men. They told it to the Kevin Samuels. They told it to all the red pill, manosphere men, all the men that they don't like when they say what they hear from them. They're always coaching men, even if they agree with what they supposedly saying on how they should say it, but they'll never tell. You'll never hear a man tell a woman say it, and you'll never hear a woman tell no woman to watch her delivery. They only say it to quiet and coach how men talk.
Okay, go ahead, Gotta P, Disco, and then Bina.
I'm good on this one right here.
And I'm done. I don't see, for me, I don't I don't do the going back and forth. I say what I say, and she says what she says. That's the end of that. All the back and forth, I don't have time for. That's just me. That's just me. I just you guys, you do what you do. I'm just not going back and forth. That's just I heard a lot of but I did hear a lot of women saying that they trying to tell men what to do, and I think that's, some women have the audacity to do that, and they don't even follow their own what they're saying. So that's a lot of that's spoken like a big strong boy to me. When women tell other men what to do, that's spoken like a big strong boy. Um, and it's just the audacity now. So, like I said, I just don't go back and forth. I'm not going back and forth. So that's all I gotta say.
Okay, Bina, thriving, and then pick me.
So, I understand where everybody's coming from as far as like, letting a man be a man, saying what they have to say, and respecting that in that manner. And I get that, and I respect men and their authority. I absolutely do. I respected my dad for the 36, 7 years I've been alive. I've always have what I'm saying. When I made that statement, it was more so like understanding or realizing that having to deal with a Asian parent that is on a cognitive decline, and there are certain things that you've never experienced that you've never had to deal with. So when if somebody's saying that if me correcting my dad and how he's interacting with me is disrespectful, no, it's being corrective in that moment. But outside of that, that's a new experience for me. When it comes to dealing with my man or a man I'm dealing with, I'm gonna respect the man. I respect people, period. Man, woman, child, pet, whatever. You know what I mean? So that was just a specific experience that I used, or you know what I mean? Like, but if anybody's ever dealt with a parent that's going through like dementia or anything like that, then you can talk to me about how to
We
navigate through that. But
I am.
nobody, you can tell
We would
you
never
nobody
say
can.
what you're saying.
No, hold on. Let her have it.
But I don't know how to navigate through that. This is new to me, so nobody can tell me how to go through it. Nobody can tell me how to
We're not
navigate
telling
through
you.
that. Okay, so all I'm just saying, I just use that as a specific example. Outside of that experience, when it comes to men and how I interact with them, respect begets respect. That's really what it boils down to.
Can
Like
I
you
respond to say
see,
what she said,
No, but
Melanie?
y'all not
Hold
equals
on.
at
Wait a
all.
minute. Just real quick.
that's
Thriving.
all.
Did you?
I'm a land. I'm a land. I'm just saying,
Okay.
respect begets respect.
Okay.
That's
So
all.
thriving. I just want to let you,
Yes,
because I told you you were next, so I want to let you interject real quick. But Ali does
thank
want to
you.
rebuttal her. But go ahead.
Thank you. All right, I just wanted to clarify some things for new people. I only answered that question because I was asked a question. I'm going to warn you right now. If you're gonna ask me a question, make sure you know that I'm going to answer truthfully from the heart of hearts, the soul of soul. If you don't like it, that is your problem. As for the leader, right? Just because somebody's born male does not automatically make them a leader. They have to show a track record of leadership qualities, meaning how do they live their lives? How do they take care of their parents? How do they take care of their responsibilities? How do they take care of their health? What about their spirituality? There's got to be something that as women we can look and say, you know what, I want to submit myself to this man because he has a track record that shows that he can lead me to the promised land, not back to Egypt. Okay, so just because you are a male, it's not automatically that we're going to bow down and say, you know what, I'm going to be under the submission of your leadership. You have to have a track record. Hang on. So with that said, am I saying that not all men can be leaders? I'm not saying that. I think men are capable to be leaders. I think if you were born men, much is given, much is required. So the responsibilities that fall onto you, it's your responsibilities to be a leader and a provider. If you have a problem with that, take it up with your creator. You cannot sit here and say, I'm waiting for my woman to make me a leader or to cooperate so I can be a leader. You lead because the Most High Himself bestowed that upon to you. Now you're waiting on your woman so you can comply. That is a cop out,
You're
and
such a
I'm
fake.
done listening to it, and I'll end there.
You're a
Go
fake.
ahead, Ali. Hold on, song. Go ahead,
So
Ali.
Bina just said she don't know how to deal with her father, but then said nobody can tell her how to deal with her father. That's contradictory. If you don't know how to deal with your father, then you ask other people or professionals how to deal with your father if he's going through that, if you want the clarity on how to deal with it. Thriving just right now in what she's saying, and what keeps happening over and over again is making the conversation about herself instead of letting it go, and all of us learn and observe from what's been happening. Just go, you know what? Maybe I should listen to what the men are saying and observe what they're saying and listen to them. And but then she disqualified men by saying you should have a track leader of leaders. This is what I want to ask Thriving, because women do this all the time too. How do you identify a leader when you meet them? You say a track record, which means you would have to go. What do you mean? Actually, what do you mean by having a track record? How do you identify a leader, Thriving?
Exactly.
That's very easy. I
Hmm.
do believe in the as far as value systems go that there is the most high. My leader is going to submit to himself to the most high. If he does not believe in the Bible, or if he doesn't believe that there's a God, there's gotta be some set of values that he submits himself to. When it all fails, that's going to guide him to the right path to go.
Can you stop
How
right
do
there
I
real quick,
tell?
please, so we can walk it down?
Sure,
Are
sure.
there bad men that believe in God? Are there bad leaders that believe in God?
Their believing and acting is two
Okay,
different things,
so
right?
explain to me how the leader you can observe actually is following God. So now you're saying following God. So how would
Okay,
he
so
demonstrate that he
through
follows
their
God?
actions,
What
through their
actions?
actions. Okay, we are commanded to obey our parents. How is his relationship with his father and mother? Right? That's something you can observe. Can you not? How is he conducting himself in terms of his responsibilities? Does he take care of his temple, his body, his soul, his spirit? Does he take care of his home? Does he take care of his responsibilities? Right? Is he breaking the laws of the land? I mean, these are things we can observe. It's not hard to see.
Man, how can you observe, man? When you're meeting a man, how do you know he's a good leader? Like when you meet him, how do you know he's a good leader?
You get to know him for a while. It's not something you can determine in one date. You get to know him. You get to observe in his environment. You get to see his family. Maybe he brings you alongside his family. You get to observe his home, how he takes care of his home, his things. You get to see how long has he been in his workforce, right? Well, what kind of experience does he have? Is he consistent? Is he a man of his word? When he says he's gonna do something, does he follow through? These are things we can see,
You know
right?
what? It's again, you'll say that, and then women won't follow that guy. The only time he's a leader is when the woman is following him. You say all these other things about making him a leader, but the only time he actually becomes a leader is when the woman follows him. So you
And
can
Ali, I
say,
would like to. My wife is sitting here, and she was known as incredibly submissive before me, way before me. In church, she was a worship leader in our church, and she was a nurturer. She was actually a nanny for multiple families. And she was known to be, there were so many guys that were weak guys in church, strong guys, and she was known as respectful to all of them. She didn't even know most of them. So I'm asking her, babe, did you have to need all of that before you were submissive and kind and respectful to these men? She's like, absolutely not. Like, I'm ultimately submit to you, my husband, but I was being submissive is submissive. You can't pick, like, that's like a guy wearing dresses and doing whatever on Saturday and Sunday, but decide when the right woman comes, I'm gonna be masculine. And when the right
feminine.
man comes along, I'm gonna be
Right,
submissive and
right.
kind. And if he shows himself to be these six things in his bullet point, then you're not submissive. That's like you're not masculine. Either you consistently are who you are, or you not that way. My mother repeatedly tell us you can't make a submissive woman masculine. You can't. She said we would travel the world. There were some women, no matter what you said to them, they would just bow down. My mother has never yelled at her sons. She would walk up the steps and knock on the door and say, "Sons, your breakfast is ready." If to this day, if she comes to my house, she say, "Do you mind if I get something to drink?" Sure. Do you mind if I go in the fridge? This is my mother. But she wants her sons to feel incredibly strong and powerful all the time, even my sons. So it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. It's not a button you switch on and switch off. You guys are disingenuous, and this false humility is false submission. It's fake. Even to come on here and say these demeaning things about your own father, and then say, well, with the reason why I'm saying it, who cares why you saying it? My wife's father is literally dealing with the same thing. We would
What did I
never
say
bring
demeaning
any
about my
we
father,
would
Sean?
never
Let him
bring any of
What
finish.
this
did I
stuff
say
up.
Hold
demeaning
on.
about
Let
my
him finish,
father?
Hold
Beans.
on.
Let
We
him
would
finish.
never bring up anything, and I got to check him and talk to him and hold on. And I got I are all brothers and one sister. I'm telling you, if my brothers heard my sister say that about our father publicly, we would probably warn her once, and have a meeting that we done with you. Like that is so demeaning and dishonoring. If any guy liked you that was on his live, we would advise him, brother, you marry her, you on your own. Why would any woman think that that is honorable to do, that cared for you and did all, you said he was all of these amazing things, then why do we know anything bad about him? And you said he's losing his thoughts. So why would you also bring up that you got to check him on making sure that we equal enough? No, you're not equal. He's your father. So this is, I'm saying you guys are so
Wow,
out of line with
this is
God.
crazy.
And then y'all try to pepper in and you try to say it in such a sweet way that's just like, no, that's not real submission. They're manipulative. I don't
I
buy either one
only
of you.
no song. That's so crazy to me that you
I
would
know
bring
you
that
Okay.
up.
believe it. That's the
Okay.
crazy
Okay,
Hold
part.
wait,
on.
Melanin, because I need to clarify this because
Yeah,
that is
but
crazy.
make it quick because
I'm gonna
Kanai's
make
gonna
it
go.
quick and
Okay,
no, I'm
wait.
gonna
Just
make
let
it
me
quick and
finish.
I'm gonna
Just let me finish.
okay.
So we're gonna let you
Okay.
say your piece, but make it quick. Kanai's gonna go, and then we're wrapping it up.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely wrapping it up. But what the fact that you think that I was talking bad to my about my father is wild. All I did was mention an interaction that I had with my father when he wilded out on me, like talked to me crazy, and I just responded by saying, I am not a child. I'm your child, but I'm not a child. That's like what I don't know what's so bad about saying that, right?
You're
Like
not a
I just had to.
child.
Let her have it.
I'm not a child. I'm
To
not a
this
child.
thing.
Don't, but I am your child, but I'm not a child. So please, like, just be respectful. I had to remind him of that. That's all I said. I don't know what was so deplorable about that. That's all
Okay.
I said.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it. But
So
anyway, I rest there.
okay. So Kanai, go ahead.
Oh, good evening, everybody, and
Good now.
it's late. Hi, Ali. Hi, Melanie, and everybody on the
Hi.
panel. Hi, Song. Hi,
Hey,
Thriving, and Bina,
how are you?
and
Hey,
hello.
Auntie. Hey, Auntie. Good to see you.
Good to
Hey,
see
Kanai,
you.
baby.
Hello. Hi, Pick Me. Um, I was just listening, so I'm just gonna answer the prompt because my thoughts are still swimming. In marriage, is the man and the woman equal? Um, no, no, no. There's no equal between a man and a woman in the marriage. Women know that. Um, I know that we have it in our minds that the popular or unpopular opinion is that marriage, you know, is equal between men and women because the woman may be doing a lot of work or she takes care of the kids or whatever the case may be. But I believe that it's not equal because men, they have to be the protectors. You know, if it's equal, you ain't getting up protecting no robber from coming in the house. Not know a lot of you say you can, but typically it's the man who is going to do the protection around that home. He does most of the hard labor work. He does most of the work that we don't necessarily want to do. You know what I mean? He's cutting grass. He got to take out the robbers. He got to take it. He got to pay the big mortgage almost by himself. Okay, even though the women say, okay, well, we going half on the mortgage. Not completely half. Maybe 70, 30, 60, 40, something like that. But I don't know. I just don't think that we really look into the lives of men the most times and see where women are just not we're just not equal in marriage. You know, you can have a baby and he can't. That's not equal. You're not equal. You're not the same. You have two different functions. Now, it doesn't mean that one function takes away from the other or the other is better. It's just two different functions, right? Do two different things and a few different things and you reach a common goal. So that's what that is. It's called working together, teamwork, right? Teamwork make the dream work. Anybody say that at work? Okay. So that's basically what it is, right? So um even when we deal with emotions, men are not the same. Okay. Even when we talk about communicating, we are not the same. You talk 50 times more than he does. He say one sentence and you be like, dang, that's all you had to say what I just said? Yeah, that's enough. He's only going to say a few words. So I think that, once we understand that men and women are not the same in a marriage, relationship, or wherever, even at work, y'all like the same. You don't even carry the same load. Anytime you get a job where it's predominantly men, or when you get a job where it's blue collar, you women are applying for these jobs, say you want equality, but you're not doing the same amount of work. You asking him to come over there and help you pick up them big boxes because you can't. So you're not the same because you don't even have the same strength. So I think that when we just start to learn our roles and just respect one another's roles on both sides, okay, I think we can dance better together, get along, and and learn, to allow men to lead and you follow. I do notice a lot of times when we talk about leadership, we talk about a lot of things that we feel that men should do and how they should be. And I'm not saying that the things that have been said that they were incorrect, but sometimes and oftentimes it seems as if, you know, you can lead everything else and do everything else, but don't touch me. That's why we get partnership and all these different things. And I think that sometimes we could be just a little bit stubborn and not really understanding how this leadership follower process works. You definitely have to have some kind of um, relationship, as Ms. Thriving was talking about the Most High. You have to, you have to have that. Um, and you have to have that because it's just not easy to do it on your own. Because the rebellious nature, we all have it, the flesh, it don't like to listen to nobody. So that's man or woman, right? But regardless of that, there's still a hierarchy and somebody has to lead it. Somebody's at the top. Somebody is the leader. You know what I mean? Two people can't drive the car at one time. Somebody has to sit in the passenger seat and trust somebody to lead the way, right? And that's typically going to be the man, because I'll tell you this, if there ever comes a time where the mortgage is due and your husband ain't got the money, and you call your daddy and tell him that you need to borrow $5,000, well, that's if you live in California, to pay the mortgage on that 3,000 square foot home, he gonna say, where your husband at?
Mm.
You're not equal because he's not putting the responsibility on you. He's not asking you why you don't have the money, why you didn't go make the money. No, he's saying, I passed you off to this man. How come he is not paying the mortgage? What is the problem? So that's why you'll never be equal. Anything that is falling off in the house and it's not right, the whole neighborhood is looking at, where's the man at? Where's the man at? They ain't looking at you. You get to hide behind the man.
Mhm.
So you're not equal. You don't even get the same punishment. Even if you look at the laws, you're not equal. Because see, when y'all decide to mess with young teenage boys, you don't go to jail. But when a man decides to do it, he going to jail. You're not equal. So the system, women, and everything else, I'm a land, holds men accountable. We are not equal because we don't even get held accountable. Even in the marriage. Even in the marriage, your family is going to look to your husband for whatever drops. If the if the ball drops, they looking at Ali. They looking at Song. They looking at Mr. Chicago. They're not looking at Melanie. Not looking at Pick Me. They're not looking at Thriving. They're looking at these men. And I'll land right there.
Okay. So the host has called the night. There will be no additional conversation. I do want to say whatever is discussed on the panel, leave it on the panel so we can all come back and have great discussions. Thank you for the 80K likes, and thank you everybody for your point of views. Host, are you there? He must be on a call. Oh, there he goes. Go ahead, host.
Thank you, everybody. I got to tap out, but I appreciate everybody on the line.
Nigga Pocket, we know what time it is, my
Two
brother.
in the morning. I'm with
You
him.
know what time it is, my brother. Tap out. Tap
Okay,
out.
y'all.
Good night.
Y'all
Bye,
be back
everybody.
tomorrow.
Good night.
Okay.
Y'all good night.
Good night.
Pastors lying to the public, they ain't got the truth in them. Lights out, gas off, boot listed, city pimping. Blocks on fire cause the homeowners broke as fuck. Taxes up, water bill higher than a semi truck. It's a bigger place.